Benvindo a LinuxGameCast semanal.
Willkommen zu LinuxGameCast Wochenlicht.
Hey, welcome to LinuxGameCast, eh? Oh, and hockey. Coming up on this Linux Gamecast Weekly, low sales for Garry's mod, a delayed machine for pigs, and a not-so-serious, humble weekly sale. Then we throw the review chairs at Anodyne. All this, plus your hate mail. Let's go. And welcome back to another Linux Gamecast Weekly, the show that covers Linux gaming news, reviews, how-tos, and more importantly, whatever the hell else we come up with. This week, we're screaming about the latest Steam update, low sales for Gmod, a delayed machine for pigs, and not-so-serious, humble weekly sale. But joining me every week, Master Sving himself. You might know him as Captain
God, what am I doing here?
Fabulous. And the Mateos. So guys, how's it going? What's been going on? You first.
Absolutely nothing. My week has been dull. I spent my Friday evening and Saturday morning figuring out the dependency tree for the game that we're going to review today. So I am not a happy Jordan.
Well, I spent the first few days of the week over in the north with Nori, which was nice. Did land a job interview. I think it went well, just waiting on the confirmation, hopefully. Come on. Unemployed? Yeah, kind of need a job.
Well, over here in LGC
on
land,
the internet.
Nothing new. We're still hammering out the live stream issues, which were apparent for last week before that. Does not affect our live recording. So, but we still like the interaction with Chat Realm, which we need to introduce. The most important part, isn't that right, J-Man?
The most important member of our Linux Gamecast cast.
The member gets longer
every week.
Every
We
week.
do this live. You can connect to our IRC channel on Freenode. We're at #LGC-weekly.
Let's make with a
Or if
whoring.
you're watching this at linuxgamecast.com/live. Yeah, there's a little web chat there. But yes, whoring. We can go to linuxgamecast.com/podcast to see all our wonderful little horror links with our horror RSS feeds for SD video, HD video, and SD audio, and our horror Amazon affiliate links. So you can give us some of that microtransacty goodness. Or if you really want to get the full horror experience, you can go for our donation buttons. We got a one-time donation, we got a recurring $3.50 a month donation, and we got a $10 donation. And any single donation will get you up on the leaderboard. Oh, shame.
But what if they want to watch the
Well, possibly
YouTubes, man?
leaderboard. Oh, shame. Oh, yes. We also have our YouTube page, youtube.com/LinuxGamecast. We got all our videos for all our horrible, horrible little series. We got our favorite redheaded stepchild subreddit, Linux_gaming, where you can check out some interesting stories regarding Linux gaming. Linux Gamecast gets some of our stories from this Reddit. So post, join the community, have some fun, blah, blah, blah. And finally, for a very special episode of Game of Who, you should tune in sometime this week. You can find that at gameofwho.com.
As it slowly
So, we
pulls
like to
up because you
educate
sprung that
children.
one on me, but it is available. We will be doing the...
It was in
Red
the
Wedding.
notes, man.
I didn't
It
strike
was
it out
in the
last week,
notes.
and I didn't strike it out this week. But that is another thing. But Game of Who, no spoilers. But we will be talking about the Red
Spoilers.
Wedding and what's to come after
Well,
that.
spoilers is all we do.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Not right now. Spoilers
I mean,
when the
it's
show
not,
is
it's not.
released.
If you haven't seen the latest episode of Game of Thrones already, why are you watching this? Go watch that now,
Brilliant.
and then come back.
Yeah.
But then there's that smell after we feel dirty. And it's
No,
not
no, no,
odorless.
no. There's no smell. No. I think before we get to that, we should address something a little dandy.
You know,
Oh.
we need to have that linked up, so why don't you cover for me?
All right. Well, Amazon has their Amazon Oh So Fine and Dandy bundle. And for, what is it, $10? Something to the tune of
$9.99.
that. Yes, $9.99. You get a bunch of Double Fine games. You get Costume Quest, The Cave, Stacking, Psychonauts, Iron Brigade, Brutal Legend, and you get some more stuff. You get Huntsman, The Orphanage, Dynasty of Dusk, The Curse of the Nordic Code, and
Well, you know, I'm looking at this, man. It looks like
that's a lot of games for $10.
We actually get The Cave and Iron Brigade, which is yet to be ported, but I'm sure it's on its way.
But the important thing to mention, though, is that these are Steam keys. You are buying Steam keys from Amazon that you go and play on Steam. There is no DRM-free copy of this whatsoever.
Even more catch. U.S. only, unfortunately. Well, U.S., Canada, I believe. Possibly.
Is it in Canada? Because according to one of our legions of adoring fan, Maddie19, he's in the chat realm right now. He says that apparently it's only for U.S. customers.
He
is not in the chat realm right now.
He's not in the chat realm right now.
Damn you, Maddie. Damn you.
Well, that's the thing. That's the fine. And
these shifty French Canadians, never there when you need them.
We'll have a link to that in the show notes. It's going to be a thing. Rock on with that. Pick it up if you didn't pick up and you're in the States. For $9.99, good deal if you missed the Double Fine bundle. But now that I made such a stinky transition originally. Yeah, it was a pretty horrible transition. It's dead. But it does look like gelatinous.
Steam.
No. That would be the...
No.
Is it?
Steam Licks Update of the Week. And this one just really made me so stabby I wanted to punch a leprechaun.
Yes, a crappy transition for a crappy client update.
Yep.
Ooh, did anybody else have any issues with this? No?
Other than it resetting my control scheme in Left 4 Dead 2, no.
J-Man?
I didn't. I haven't really played around with any of the Steam games since that update. I haven't really updated my Steam since, well, yesterday, so I haven't seen the full out of that.
According to the V, the only Linux thing is fixed shift and control key state for sticking sometimes, such as during screenshot. Lies! Damn lies. I'll tell you what it did to me.
Well, they also have some big picture fixes for Linux as well. Something to do with resizing after a game changes the screen resolution.
Which you do now have a HTPC, right?
Yeah, I actually just tried out the big picture mode the other day, just out of curiosity. Interesting. It's a bit weird to navigate.
Yeah, it takes some getting used to.
Use the regular Steam interface.
Yeah. Well, on this end, running the default de facto box, the 1204 LTS 32-bit NVIDIA, it nixed my Half-Life 2 and Portal saves, which, big deal. It's kind of a big deal since I've never played Half-Life 2 before, or Portal. So, it's you got to go all the way back to the beginning, and
I guess that has something to do.
Shouldn't those be synced to the cloud, though?
Yes, they are synced to the cloud, and they don't load.
Apparently, it's because of this supposed fix that they have in the general that says, fix restoring game backups for Half-Life and Half-Life 2 engine-based games. Apparently, they didn't fix it. They botched it.
Yeah. Wow.
Well, then.
That's kind of our update for the Steam level 1, but look, Iculus is back.
The update on our update.
Pedro, you got this one.
Ryan C. Gordon is on Twitter.
Ryan C. Gordon. So, do you guys remember that game that apparently was available, air quotes, since, the closed beta for Steam on Linux? Shank?
Nope, never heard of it. Tell me about it.
Yeah, it's one of those 2D beat-em-up games. Yeah, it's like the 21st century reimagining of Streets of Rage. And Iculus is now, he came out on Twitter and said, Shank Linux is now on Steam. 9 months later, it's now on Steam with SDL2, Rumble support, big picture mode, and better full screen, all the fun stuff.
How about the controls, J-Man?
Yeah, I don't know. My Logitech Adamantium basic controller, which is in the other room, wasn't detected by Shank, so that was kind of weird. So
How about that PS Abomination you own?
This one right here works out of the box.
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess that is a thing.
Weird.
Yeah, Shank was never my cup of
Anyways,
tea.
so yeah, rabbits.
But we're back again.
Ooh,
Ryan C.
more
Gordon.
Ryan C.
And back with more old games. Instead of
Yes.
old, this one's ancient. This one has social security. It's been on Linux for so long. It's, how would you go about that? Lugaro?
Lugaroo.
Hippotus
It's
hopitus.
Australian. You gotta speak Australian, mate.
I can't read upside down.
Lugaroo, eh?
Lugaroo.
But Ryan also did
yes,
this, and it's on Steam, right? It's been updated to SDL2. Tell us about it, gentlemen.
Yeah. It's SDL2.
It's one of these wandering combat games where you run around, beat the crap out of people, except you're a rabbit.
Ah, well, that
And you
changes
beat 'em
everything.
up.
It's like fuzzy violence, right? Wait,
It's like a cross between Bugs Bunny and Kung Fu.
I was about to say this reminds me an awful lot of a furry convention. Just throwing
Send
that
your
out.
hate mail too.
Ven at linuxgamecast.com.
Right. So that's the thing. I think
Tweet him at Ven Stone plus Ven Stone on Google Plus. Let him hear what you really think.
So
yeah. Lugaroo, and the fact that it's out now.
But look at the price, man. It's $9.99. It's £10 for something that's been on Linux for 4 years ish.
4 years. But then again, Wolfire's sequel to the game, it's Overgrowth.
Oh, you
It
mean
should be
the
coming
Duke
out.
Nukem Forever of Linux games?
Oddly enough, it has the same number of bunnies in it. So
Yep.
So that's the thing. It's going to be available, but I'm still going to have to throw this one back to you, P-Man, because you have it on the A device.
Right here. Knights of Pen and Paper.
wouldn't you rather call it the P device?
So
Would you rather call it
apparently
Shut the Hell Up and let him do his segment?
No.
So it's
Just
Knights
checking.
of Pen and Paper.
Go ahead, Pedro.
It's okay. They're looking for support for the Linux version. They've actually announced that it will be coming out, and people are actually
They didn't ask people to beg for it, and they was like, we got Linux, yo.
It's then again, it's a Unity game, so Linux shouldn't be that hard a port to do.
So you're not doing this like, yeah, Linux, bitch.
Yeah, no.
You like from our Linux Gaming has a nice little comment. It's the first one in the thread. This is the first time a dev has started the obligatory Linux version thread. Thanks for saving us the hassle.
Great to hear. I love this game on my mobile or phone, and we'll buy it on Linux too.
I just like that first comment. That cracked me up.
But yeah, about the game in itself, it works really great as an Android game. I know. I mean, it's right here.
That's what she said.
He's gonna play it for us right now on LinuxGameCast Weekly.
Great TV.
But it's all about the medium. And don't get me wrong, it's great that it's getting ported to Linux. More Linux games makes Pedro happy. But, medium. The medium is important. I don't know how well it would work in a PC.
Wait, just scroll up. I like that. I like the TARDIS and the Stargate buried in the background.
Yeah, in the sand thing.
Oh,
Sand right there.
brilliant. Look, there's Christ on the mountain. Fantastic. Good on that.
Yeah.
Plus 16-minute duration, 2 table items, permanent effect. Definitely not my style of game, but, something Pedro's on about. And some people like these
You know
types
what?
of games.
I'd check that out.
It's a really fun
it's
game.
supposed to be sort of harping on tabletop games, so I'm into tabletop games.
Yeah, it's a parody
Well
on
done.
D&D as a tabletop game, and it works in Android.
In Android.
Super sweet. So, this guy.
Gary.
No,
Hello, Gary.
Yeah, I want to start this one off. All right. Now, completely unfamiliar with Gary's mod because it didn't run on Linux, and that's always been, my dice is, if it doesn't run on Linux, I don't play it. But Andrew Pyle sent over, he gifted me a copy of it because apparently they were giving him away or something. But I'd heard the rumors through the years, through the ages, that he was the most ginormous wanker in the entire known carbon-based universe. Now, there's a universe made of silicon and cheese, but that's a different story. And man, he just lived up to this.
I can't go to that universe anymore.
I know, I'm sorry. But check this out. The G-Man, Gary Newman, in the past week, Gmod has sold 14,000. Doesn't this thing sell for $10?
$10.
Yeah. And
14,000.
900.
No, that's almost 15,000.
yeah.
That is 26 shy of 15,000 copies.
Right. And guess how many of those were bought on Linux? Oh, I don't know. Gary, tell us. A few seconds. 27. I'm not Gary?
Bullshit.
Look at this. You just did. I'm not. No, let's go back. Come on. Make up your mind. I didn't port to Linux for the month. Then why'd you say this? Oh, come on. Let's read the rest. Thought people would be interested on how little market share it has right now, since we all have on our curb stomping boots. Who wants to go first?
I'll do it. Me. Apparently, I'm the guy with a Portuguese rage, so here it goes. How about, people don't buy shit from bitches?
Say what you really mean.
'Cause I don't.
What?
I
Tell them how
personally
you really
do
feel,
not
Pedro.
own-
Unleash it.
Yeah, I do not own Gary's mod, and at this
You
rate,
go,
I
girl.
probably never will, because I'm not giving that jerk off any more money. Sorry. Nope.
Well, here's my thing. At first I was wondering, Gary actually responded to me. And I was like, oh, wait a minute. So do you still have to enter the Bisquick or whatever that code was and do that and download the beta? Then I ended it with, SIPS PBR because it's kind of still underground, dude. And he writes back, he's like, no, you do not. And I was like, first I've fucking heard of it, and guess what I do every day for a living? Cover Linux news. Seeing problem one, as we'll call it. Then we have Garry'sMod.com. Now, this is a bit impromptu, so let's see if I can pull this off. Let's go to Garry'sMod.com. Now, if I'm a Linux user, I see an option to download it for Mac, aux, and Windows. I'm calling this, fucking kidding me, number 2. And as our friend Walter might say from Lebowski, it's 7 years old, dude. 7 years old. Go for it.
You know what? I already own a copy of Gary's Mod. I'm certain a lot of people actually own a copy of Gary's Mod before. How many of these people have migrated to Linux? I have no idea. But if you have already purchased it or you've played it under wine or whatever, then you're not going to have to repurchase it. It counts as something already in your account. Additionally, Mr. Newman.
Hello, Jordan. I'm Gary.
Like Pedro and Ben said, you generated quite a bit of hate for yourself over the past few weeks. I would not be surprised if the Linux community as a whole is sticking their thumb at you.
But Jordan, I'm not mooning.
Who am I to speculate? Oh, yes, you are. You're moaning.
No.
You're moaning like a 14-year-old Catholic schoolgirl who saw a boy for the first time.
And had sex and is still giggling but does not yet know she's pregnant. That's kind of wrapping this up. But we got one more story, right?
Ooh,
This is
new.
Yeah, this is
So
kind of...
there's a call.
Urgh.
This is from the Penny Arcade report.
Yeah.
Mm.
Now, this is borderline link bait, I'm thinking. So, what they say...
I read that, and I was a bit...
Yeah, let me get this out of my system. Want to support your favorite developers, you misspelled favorite, ditch Steam and buy direct. This entire article goes on and says if you really want to support a developer, you should go to his or his store, with the occasional, I know, one indie game developer that's...
His or his?
Yeah. We don't judge on LinuxGameCast, that's the deal.
Yep.
And the occasional her, because she's actually a really cool developer. I like her. We need more. And
the one who
download
did, Rose in Time,
directly
yeah.
from... Yeah, we did that game. From their store, deal with that, with the updates. And I've already been through the entire nightmare. Now, I will buy it directly from the developer store if I get a Steam key. That said, Steam, since its genesis in Linux as being publicly available, we've seen more games ported than the last decade. But somebody who follows me on G+,
On the Google Plus, Mr.
cleverly
Stewie.
disguised as
Stewie G.
Stuart Glee, he writes back and summarized everything I think we would all say, and I asked his permission, and he said, have at. He writes, the hell! Sure! Let's just ditch delivery, billing, support, and integrated social systems. Turn our nose up at the best thing to ever happen to the indie game scene. Scoffed at the
Burgeoning.
Burgeoning.
Yeah, that word didn't work right. Cross-platform initiatives and force every game dev shop to be directly responsible for all of the above. Don't worry, they can pay for the development, support, and manpower for all of the above. What could possibly go wrong? And he forgot to mention the bandwidth.
Absolutely nothing.
Ooh,
The bandwidth.
apply cold
Yes.
water.
As we at Linux Gamecast are learning firsthand, bandwidth.
Yeah, bandwidth,
And
support, and all that. Like I said, I kind of thought this might have been a bit of a troll bait article, but it's there. It's going to be in our show notes.
It is kind of a troll bait article, and here's, I've been in the actual printed, games media, and the Penny Arcade report was always troll baitish, URLs for hits, titles for
Pedro,
hits.
Pedro,
Yes.
it's been around for like a year.
Yeah, and it's it's managed to create some waves, and okay, they're promoting themselves. They're just not.
Yeah, it's just its thing. I think at the end of the day, Steam has done more. It's DRM. Yeah, they take their cut, roughly
Keep
around
our heads
30%.
together.
Almighty game. Call me. I still love you, even after last week. But
And
no,
if paying Valve a
fantastic.
percentage for all that saves you the trouble of going through everything Stuart mentioned.
But you
for
gotta
it.
be on your support.
Yep.
And we've already lived the nightmare of going through 20 different stores, even the Humble store is a nightmare fuel.
Yeah.
That's all it is. Desira tried, but
Nightmare
they kind of
fuel.
noped out of it 2 years
Nightmare.
ago when they last updated their client.
Yep.
So, thank you, Steam, and no thank you, Penny Arcade, because you're a bit
And
wrong.
Kuchera.
So, that does it for our Steam Linux update of the week. Up next,
Yes, let's shift that horse over to the side and let that fester for another week.
because it's the news.
Let's-
And welcome back to the news. General Linux gaming news that does not smell like wet, stinky, dead steam horses. So, coming up first, this one's kind of important.
Smell.
Well, you know, whatever you wear as your perfume is not for me to judge, just for me to mock.
You know what? Some people prefer the smell of pigs. Isn't that right, Pedro?
Yes, and speaking of pigs, apparently Amnesia, the machine for pigs, has been delayed. Again. Yeah, this comes from Frictional Games, the guys who brought us Penumbra, Amnesia, Penumbra Overture, all that fun stuff. Yeah, the Penumbra series.
Yeah, no pigs for you is basically what he says. We're optimizing, tweaking, and in general
Amnesia is allergic to bacon.
But yeah, I'm not as crushed as most because, to be honest with you, let's just look at the gameplay. I mean, yeah, the graphics are a little bit updated, but the gameplay, here's the lantern again.
It's that sort of gameplay. They inherited it from
the engine.
Penumbra.
Yeah.
And
Amnesia.
It works for what it is. It works, and it works really well. It creates that uneasy ambiance, and it's freaking amazing, which is why I'm kind of looking forward to it. And they've pushed it back again.
Well, the first one.
So many turds.
The first one you did have, like the pickaxe that you could take care of the zombie dogs with. Then the second one, so I was alright with the pickaxe, as long as I got something. The second one, just duct tape down your nope button because you had nothing. And everything was out to get.
Key.
Yeah. you could run, and I'm not good in situations where I can't defend myself. But this is being held up, and did they give a time for it?
Yeah, they did say, we know we will not make Q2. We also know when the game will be ready for launch. Then why aren't you sharing? We have not set the exact day yet. You can, however, make good use of the weather outside this summer and look forward to gaming with the piggies as the summer comes to an end.
So basically, that's why.
Q3.
Yeah. That's the dice on that. But we got ready to humble last week, but then they threw some new, wet, stinky games in our face organs, didn't they?
Yep.
They threw quite a few, didn't they? From
Good ones, too. Hotline,
they gave us Tiny and Big, Intrusion,
English Country Tune, and Oil Rush.
Yeah.
You were happy with some of them, right, sir?
Yeah, I was glad I got a copy of Oil Rush because I'd been meaning to check that one out. No, strategy games aren't really my dice. Intrusion 2 seemed a bit interesting, so I'm looking forward to checking that out. And
it is a flash game.
The only issue I have with Intrusion is that it's a flash game.
Yeah,
but
so
the
bad.
gameplay looks kind of interesting.
Yeah,
English Country Tune.
That one I haven't tried yet.
I don't even know what the hell that is.
It's a puzzle game. It's challenging. You can see. Well, let me say, I can see where it gets challenging. I played it long enough to go, have that, that's where we're going moment. And I was like, all right, I'll save that for the institution later on in life. And Tiny and Big, we've given out plenty of keys for that game. Fantastic game. It's only going to let you...
We've thrown some chairs at that game.
Yeah, it definitely let you kill 2 or 3 hours of just genuine fun. But you can still get on this if you're watching us live. We have 2 days left. Time of publishing, you might have about 20 hours.
Or under 3 days, rather.
Yeah. For that, what do they have to pay to unlock this? $5.82, £5, £6. Not too bad a deal, in my opinion.
Thanks, Windows users. We appreciate it.
What? Oh yeah, they
drive them costs down.
Boy, man. 5, 6. But then again, we're not doing that much better. But Notch, hey, look.
To be fair, the initial salvo of games, a lot of us already owned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
well,
speaking of humble, they're getting kind of serious about this, aren't they?
Well, I would say they're getting not so
The
serious.
humble, serious, humble bundle.
Now, this is one of those weekly sales that, features Massa Sveng's favorite game of all time that's colored brown.
Brown, which sucks because we get a bunch of actually pretty decent games with this. Serious Sam first encounter, second encounter, and 2 brought up some very good memories from high school. One thing that really pissed me off though, they're including Double D and the random encounter, and they haven't ported those to Linux because I played those on Windows and they were fun. The entire point of Double D is you stack guns on top of other guns until you make super guns and kill everything with it.
It sounds really interesting.
Awesome.
I'm glad that this is out. You might remember that Iculus way back when. This is an Iculus Ryan C. Gordon heavy episode in case you haven't put 2 and 13 together. Serious M2 has been ported
by Ryan C. Gordon for president.
Right. And the original Serious Sam. But those things are based on libc 5 probably, I believe.
Yeah.
So good luck on getting that working. There's a how-to on LinuxGameCast from way back when. Yeah, don't know if that's still going to work nowadays. Pedro's, any thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, the only Linux game here is Serious Sam 3, and the only way you can actually get that is pay above the average, which is good. It makes us Linux users look good, paying lots of money, but
it's like $4 for that one Linux game that retails for like $39.95.
Yeah,
And you know what? A lot of people already played that too during the Steam beta.
Yeah, with the beta, and that's one thing that genuinely disappointed me with Linux users is when the beta was taken away, and they said, "Well, hope you had fun playing it. Now, would you mind buying it?" It's we helped you out. And I was like, you got to play a free game. That's how beta works.
To be fair,
Speaking to the microphone, it works better that way. Trust me.
I can tell why. I can see why people didn't want to go back and buy Serious Sam 3. I mean, I played it. I forget with who. One of the guys from the Chat Realm, and I told him after about 15 minutes of this, it gets pretty boring, doesn't it? Yeah.
It's the same thing, same color of brown. I mean, it's a dull game, but kill things. Left 4 Dead 2 beta, in my opinion, infinitely better.
Yep. Much, much better.
Had more fun with that, but that's the thing. You still got 4 days, so even if you're listening to this on the podcast, downloads, you probably still have at least a day to get your wet, stinky hands on it. But since we're talking about bundles, a capsule bundle? Never heard of it. Tell me what it is.
Bundle in a box.
Bundle in a box.
Thebox.com.
A virtual box.
One of those pay what you want and grab a box of excellent DRM free games, according to their banner. And, unlike the Humble Bundle, in which most Humble Bundles include Linux versions for all games, these sort of less mainstream bundles tend to only include 1, 2, maybe 3, sometimes 4 on a good day Linux games. And in this case, if you pay...
I think this one only includes 1, though, right?
It's...
Maybe no Hacker Evolution.
Hacker Evolution Untold, and the early access for Lunit, which we will talk about a bit later on. But if you beat the average of $3.95, you get Hacker Evolution Duality and Secret of the Magic Crystals, which you might remember from last episode. Zomagat Ponies!
ZoMG Ponies! Well, man, I
Ponies! Ponies!
One of the frightening things that I'm seeing that's occurring on our favorite subreddit, Linux_gaming, is everyone's demanding is like, we need a mascot, for our subreddit, and they want that game to be they want the Magic Crystals to be the mascot. And I kept thinking in my brain organ, I was like, I know a subreddit that has a mascot prominently displayed. It's called Space Dicks. So let's not do that. We don't need Carlton in the version of
Carlton.
Shiny.
It's not unusual
to be loved by
anyone.
Oh, yeah. What do we got up next, gentlemen?
But anyways, so we didn't really talk about Loon, did we?
Well,
Oh, yes. We should probably talk about it since, again, if you get the bundle,
it's in the notes.
Yep. You get access to Luna, which, to be honest, I can't really tell from what I've played what kind of game it is.
well, it's some they got some hippie stuff up here. It's
yeah.
an innovative game about reflection and solid, and I just noped out right there. So
You
anybody
control the moon.
Yeah, it is actually a neat concept.
I had fun for about 5 minutes making the tides go in and out, and then I'm just like, all right, now what?
You can't explain that. I mean,
Yeah.
that's the
Tide
whole
goes in,
thing.
tide goes out, man.
It's created for the French game that explains a lot. It's playtime, but no, I mean it's a puzzle platformer, and you can change the lunar cycle, which adjusts the tides, which kind of seems like the only mechanic that. So it gets old. It is super alpha. No way to really save anything. So that just nixes it for right now. But play it. It's beautifully done. I like the concept. I like seeing new concepts when it comes to just puzzle games, period.
Yeah, unfortunately, there was a problem.
What was the problem?
Yeah, even because if you try to start the game just out of the box, it bugs and it won't register your keyboard strokes. So what you have to do is go to .config on your home folder, Unity 3D, Luna Team, Luna, open the prefs file and enable full screen. Just change that 0 to 1. And I did that. And I set the resolution to the resolution I usually use, which is 1366 by 768, because both my monitors have serious refresh rate issues at full HD. So I keep them toned down a bit. Yeah, so... But the game would refuse to even play at anything other than 1920 by 1080, and having both my monitors scale up at the same time it's a 4-year-old laptop.
Apparently it curb stomped your calculator.
I mean, I could play it. It's just it's not pretty.
Yeah. So
it really messed with my multi-monitor
Drifting.
setup, actually.
drifting.
So, yeah, Drifter.
Ooh.
Drifting from CelsiusGS.com/drifter.
There's a pre-order, man, and a vote for the green light.
It's
Green light.
Yeah, and it's a space exploration type game where you cruise around and shoot stuff.
Yeah.
It's not a space exploration type game. It's a space exploration game. That's just it.
Thank you, Pedro. That's the joke.
I know, right?
Well, it's Drifter, and this is from CelsiusGS.com. It's going to be in our show notes. I guess you drift around and look at planets.
You destroy asteroids, collect ore. It's I don't know. Ever since Notch announced 10 to the Sea, it seems like everyone's coming out with their own space exploration themed game, and they're really not matching up.
Yeah, well some of us can pull Notch's cock out of them.
It requires you to learn assembly to do well in it.
Yeah.
So, what about this game there? What was that, Pedro? Sounds
10
interesting.
to the Sea. You have a C16 CPU integrated into your spaceship, and it actually works. Well, they are trying to make it work without breaking the fourth wall.
Well,
That's
anyway,
the big issue.
At the end of the day, check this out at the site. It'll be in the notes. Looking for some greenlight votes. It is available right now in the Humble Store for 10 quid. Not bad. I mean, it looks a bit fancy. I'm guessing it's a Unity game. Don't have my mitts on it.
I'd wait till it goes on sale. If it gets greenlit, I'd wait till it goes on sale on Steam.
Yeah.
It's the August
it's
summer
still
cycle.
early in
Yes,
development, so I'm not going to say negative or positive about that. But they call me the Dead Body Man.
Mm.
Really? I thought they called
But,
me
you
the
know,
Dead
but-
Body Man. I thought you were the Dead Body Kid.
Giggity.
Life goes on.
Life goes on.
Well, what are you going to do about it? No, man. This
Get killed a bunch of times.
is
Pretty
kind
much.
I think well, it's Unity. It runs out of the box. A couple of critters have been working on this, and it looks decent. The concept is platforming, but you need to sacrifice in order to get through it. Now, I spent some time with it. It's fun. I like the idea. Chopping yourselves up, and especially when you get to the cannon parts. That was kind of interesting because I had all idea what was going on.
Shooting yourself at the
Boom.
walls.
Yeah, right.
Right there.
Yeah, just to figure out what's what. And this...
Swing.
Who do these come from? Oh, lifegoesongame.com. They have a demo out. This is like the first... here it is. Try it. We've been working on it for like a year, part-time, like sleepless evenings and all that. So definitely scream back in their direction on it. Free download.
You know what?
Check
I
it
dig
out.
the names at the bottom of the screen.
Yeah, it gives you different names for every night that you
nights.
slaughter. Wouldn't mind a bit more blood.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I think, as you said, J-Man, it is a bit cadaverific, right?
Cadaver. If I had to pick one word to describe what this game would be, it would be cadaverific.
Sounds like a plan. Well, I think, Pedro, is that going to do it for the news?
Well, I'll just add one thing about this game is that the graphics remind me of The Cave.
Yeah.
So definitely give it a look.
It's the bobblehead models. They all have gigantic heads and tiny bodies.
And you did have a knight of swords in the cave, so might be that. But
Yes.
I suppose that pretty much wraps it up.
A slightly less disposable knight. Yeah.
Yeah.
That does it for the news. But coming up next, we're going to throw some chairs at Zelda. Wait, no, it's
At
not.
Anodyne.
Anodyne. That's what they're calling it nowadays.
Back to our review section, where every week we like to throw chairs at various games that pass through our desks. So we have our oft-vilified, often misunderstood rating system that uses the very unique metric of lawn chairs. I'm going to explain how that works now.
Chairsplanation!
Chair explanation. Each of our 4 categories is rated on a scale from 1 chair to 4 chairs. 1 chair means it's bad, it's really bad. 2 chairs means it's passable. 3 chairs means that it's good, and 4 chairs means why is nothing happening? I'm throwing my money at the screen. Oh God, please someone sate me. And our categories of doom. Number 1, makes with the working. Number 2, shiny and sounds. Number 3, how well does it control? And number 4, is it fun? And this week, we are covering Anodyne by Sean Hogan and Jonathan Kitika, and it's developed using the Adobe Air engine.
But I think there's one thing need to explain, Master Thing, is that we are all 3 of us.
Yes. So Ven has asked me several times to count this fact. We're on 3, technically 2 different distributions.
You're a jackass. Go ahead.
Jackass.
On 3 completely different sets of hardware. Ven and I both run NVIDIA systems, and Pedro and I both run AMD systems. So we got quite a bit of coverage when it comes to functionality. So you can pick up this game, Anodyne, for $9.99 on Steam or from their store at anodynegame.com. So let's just go right into it. Ven, does it make with the working?
Well, here's the thing. Hello, young.
Hey, hello, chillins.
How my favorite cracker's doing this afternoon?
Hey, listen.
Here's the thing. Makes for the working. You're absolutely right. This means does it run and does it run on our 3 different systems. Now, I am running the gold standard, not the gold standard in the good way. The gold standard in Valve said Ubuntu 12.04 LTS 32-bit with NVIDIA graphics card. That's what we're basing Valve, Steam, Linux on. And I was like, yeah, all right. Which really sucks, but if they said Rebecca Black Linux, we're basing it on that, guess what I'd be running? Because we need
Gen
this
2.
base level. Go to hell. Here's what it is. At the end of the day, it installs Adobe Air. It has to install Adobe Air because, I'm betting it runs on Adobe Air. I'm seeing a connection here. So when you go to install
Really? I don't
gracefully,
know. You're a goddamn liar, Ben.
I might make an honest man of myself just yet. Gracefully as it possibly could, you click play, and it pops up a window, and it says, I'm about to install Adobe Air. Hit Y, and I was like, meh. It's like, I need root privileges. And I was like, ew. And I gave it for you guys. You guys watching live in the chat room, for you. That's the only reason I did this. Gave it. Then it ran. So, it installed Air as gracefully as possible, as I said, but it's still Air in that window, and it might not work for any distribution. So I couldn't give it 4. Installation-wise, makes with the working 3 chairs on my in-masses thing.
I had some fun setting this one up. This is the first Steam game in recent memory that I had to go hunt down dependencies to get it working. Because the Air installer decides, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to try and run RPM builds, and I'm going to use an entirely binary installer. So if that fails, you can't open it up and try and figure out what's wrong. Joy! Fabulous day. I eventually did get it working. Needed to find an old version of librpm build because the RPM build for that Air uses is using an old broken API. And you also need libdb 32-bit. You need a whole whack of 32-bit dependencies. So after that was all said and done, and I clicked on it on Steam, it worked. So I'm going to have to give it 2 chairs.
Very considerate 2 chairs after going through.
You know what? I want, as much as I wanted to give it 1, I'm bound by the system. I can't base it on my own personal opinion aside from the last section, so...
This is true. We cannot cheat the chairs. Up to you, P-Man. All the way from Portugal.
And for me, it was a similar experience to Ven's, except the window that popped up on my end, it did nothing. It was just a big window full
of... You mean it didn't make at least one disparaging remark about your mother?
Nope. I mean, it said, yeah, we're going to install Air, press Y. I pressed Y, I waited, give it a couple of minutes. Nope. So I just, closed it, went to the Steam directory of the game, ran the install sh file manually. It installed there. Now it actually installed Air properly. And after that, the game worked. So, 3.
3.
3.
3. So that massive number crunching task requires us to average these 3 scores.
3 for me, 2 for you, and 3 for P.
Beep boop boop beepity boop.
Chirp, shoopity boop whoop.
2 chairs.
2 chairs for makes with the working, which, considering all things,
it's Air.
At the end of the day, it's Air, and
it's what that software is. Air.
It's bad enough trying to get like a glib C5 app running. We're dealing with like Air, which we know is no longer supported. So,
because Adobe says, fuck you.
Yeah,
Linux.
even Adobe's like, nope, we're done with that.
Let's try and pimp our Java alternative. Oh, wait, everyone else is using Java? Well, shit.
Damn.
is the rules, ladies and gentlemen. But up next in this category,
Yes.
shiny and sounds, right?
How pretty does it look, and how pretty does it hear?
Well, here's the thing. I'll click over to the wrong window while I get to the right one, and we'll take a little look at this. Maybe I can embiggen it. Perfectly cromulent
it's
word.
a perfectly cromulent word.
Knew that was coming. Basically, at the end of the day, it's a classic play of Zelda with the updated graphics of an SNES. The sound, being with air, it's just a hair out of sync. You might not notice this as your average user, to be perfectly honest with you, but as somebody who is developing audio video software that kind of has to work like that, I noticed that, and I found it hella annoying. So I gotta give it mixed with the deuce, double deuce on this one.
The
J-Man?
double deuce.
Very good.
Yeah, I had similar issues with the audio being out of sync. Man, that piano gives me some serious anxiety because I'm used to hearing like musical cues and expecting something to happen, but then you get this really sharp piano chord and then nothing, and I'm like, man, what the hell's wrong with you? As for the looks, it looks like a Zelda game. Like that honestly, that's my biggest thing with this game. It's Zelda.
Yeah, it is. It really is.
From the enemies to the puzzles to the gameplay to basically everything, this is a Zelda game.
I'll replace the wooden sword with a wooden
With
broom.
a broom.
Brilliant!
Ah! But anyways, well, I'll get into that a bit later. But for now, I'm gonna give Shiny and Sounds the 2.
Oh, double
The deuce. The double deuce.
Giggity. P-Man.
And
Help us out. Give it some hope.
Well,
Come on, give us some hope.
It's 2013
Take us home,
now.
Pedro.
It's 2013, and we've had Zelda. We've had tons of Zeldas. Well, ever since they made Ocarina of Time, they've just basically been making the same thing over and over. And this game, much like the Zeldas, it looks exactly
you can
like Zelda.
jump in this game?
And
I think you need to find an item to let you
2
jump.
chairs. I can't. I can't give it any more than that. 2. Because the sound, it gets really annoying. I mean, the original Zelda has... At least the sound is in sync, like Ven said. I'm not an audiophile. I'm not, but...
Come to save a Princess Zelda.
It's annoying.
Down
It's
and
really
put her
annoying. And...
At least the original
it's-
Zelda music will give you an erection.
Yeah!
Yes.
And this one, it's an RPG that probably would have been awesome in the 90s, 80s. It's
Except it would be running
2013,
Adobe
man.
Air, so...
It's 2013!
All right, so Pedro, now that you gave your chair for that, let's move.
Do we
let's
even need
calculate
to
that up? Let's
calculate this?
I kind of want to segue to this next section because honestly, this is going to be really short. We all have the exact same complaint. Actually,
Well,
we all have the exact same rating.
Shiny and Sounds. We got to
Shiny
give
and
it
Sounds.
a
2, I
final.
The
said.
totals.
I said 2.
Boop, beep, boop, beep, boop.
There's no boop for this. It's a 2 across the board. You got 3 people with naught in common whatsoever, except for maybe some dark humor. Outside of that, nothing. We enjoy our games different ways. Some with mayonnaise.
Sexually.
But
Mm.
here's the thing. 2 with a Shiny and Sounds, but we need to get to
To
something else.
controls.
That would be the control.
As I were saying before I got interrupted, this category is going to be really short. We all have the exact same gripe with it,
Yep.
and that is
Huh?
it need
I
I
will mute you. I have the mixer.
You have the mixer. See,
Dance
this
mortal.
is an example of how not to use veto power. But anyways, then go on, speak your little bit.
Thanks, sweet cheeks. Love
let's
ya.
extend this segment as long as we can extend it. Giggity.
I'll let you roll with it after this, but this is something, as Massa's Fang was definitely pointing out, and Massa Mateus was the first to really point it out, because I thought he was genuinely joking. Because you're looking at this, and you're like, all right, well, that's a fun little platform and whatnot. Da, da, da. Guess what? You better get really uncomfortable playing it on your keyboard, because if there's anything like gamepad support, imagine that. Because, back in 1986, 87, that original Zelda, it had
way
gamepad
back when
support.
in caveman times.
So, this is one difference. I'm giving it 1 chair for that, just because hand pain aneurysms of, it's not conducive to this type of game. Period. I can play some Trine with a keyboard, but this up, down, left, right, whew.
Yeah,
J-Man.
no.
Yeah, I'm used to playing like emulators on my laptop on the bus or something. So, I mean, I could tolerate the controls. I still get the carpal tunnel flare-ups, and this thing really needs controller support. But just because it wasn't god awful controls and they at least followed some logic, at least for the keyboard stuff, I'll give it 2 chairs. But just a barely 2 chairs. It's like 1.99999.
This thing is like one Macho Man Savage short run.
Yeah, it needs to snap into a slim.
This one is not coming for you, Jesus.
Yeah, Pedro, I wonder.
Yeah.
What rating are you gonna give it, and what is your big gripe with it?
Yeah, well,
Use your imagination.
There's
Go
really no
wild.
wrench I can throw in this well-oiled machine, because we've all been playing games for a while. We all know exactly what kind of controls are just
20 years combined Linux gaming experience? No. Lies, all of it.
none whatsoever.
Slander.
And, actually playing with one of these things in a game like this one, it would have been fucking awesome.
I'm really glad you held that up as opposed to the other thing.
Yeah, no, that's not coming up. Anyway, 1 chair for me.
All right.
Bam.
Now
One
for
chair.
our final. Oh wait, no, we gotta add this up. What's it gonna be? 1 chair. Now to move on to our final.
Now,
category.
that is going to be the 1 chair for controls.
Controls.
Yes. Controls. We have to say the category at the end. So now for the one subjective category.
Since you like with the
That's
talking,
one
I'll let
thing.
you lead this one off. Massive.
I will, just because I wanted to do my lead into the control thing. That was it. He didn't let me. I'm sad now.
You should have reorganized.
Well, you should have shut the hell up.
Yeah.
So, right, now back for our
You should have concentrated harder.
our one subjective category. Is it fun? And then I think your statement on this is pretty concise.
Yeah, I don't even know what that is. Well, no,
Stick with
it's Cthulhu speak of typing on a different monitor in front of a mic when we had this. You missed it. You should watch us live. You get to see the sausage made.
Yep.
For fun, for me, check this out. I'm going to have to give this 1 chair because is Vin speak, trying to do too many things at one time. Stick with the Zelda, find it on an emulator, play it that way. That way, you ROM 5 years from now is going to work. Adobe Air on Linux 5 years from now. Oh, good luck with that. Play it in a VM with Ubuntu 12.04 because
Pretty
that's
much,
about
yeah.
where you're going to be. But it shouldn't be that difficult. I'm sorry you were saying Massa's thing.
No, I was gonna let you go into that, but honestly, the one thing stopping me from giving it 1 chair is I like the fact that when you read every single sign, they insult you.
They make disparaging remarks.
They make disparaging remarks about you and your mother. But I mean, it plays exactly like Legend of Zelda. I can't hate it for doing that, but I mean, I can't.
I mean,
if I
there's
wanted,
clones.
if I wanted to play Link's Awakening, I would play Link's Awakening. I got my old brick Game Boy. I still have that cartridge after like 15 years. Yeah. I mean, I'll give it 2 chairs just because it's not horrible, but that's a very squeaking by 2 chairs. P-Man!
That one barely got unfolded all the way.
Yeah.
P-Man.
So, yeah. The game, in the fun department, it works because, like Jordan said, there's some really nice touches with the humor in the statues and the actual wizard type guy that guides you through the quest. He obviously, there was a lot of thought put into that, and in the fun department it works until you get to the point where there's so much stuff happening on the screen that you just wish you had something a bit more tactile to get you the fuck out of there, you know, like one of these.
What's that, Pedro? Tell us.
No,
Yeah.
Jordan, that's a fear stick.
It's a fierce stick.
That's
It
what you
was at
use
that
to scare away from people who develop on Adobe Air.
Indeed.
It was
You showed them
really
what
at
a-
that
when-
point that I couldn't play it anymore, and I just dropped it. I think I put like an hour, maybe half an hour into it, and no.
I have blackouts like that too.
2 chairs, because 2 chairs.
2 chairs.
2 chairs.
So, Ven, you want to add this one up?
No, sir, you're the keeper.
I'm the keeper of the chairs. I'm the chairmaster. And from this chair hell, I rot forth 1 chair.
Bring it the vengeance. Oh.
Vengeance.
Oh, the verdict. Verdict sounds better. Now,
Yeah.
1 chair, if you're wondering, yeah.
Nope.
Save yourself $10. Go to like your favorite fast food stop. Go to your favorite taco stand. Get like $10 worth of tacos. You will be infinitely happier than playing this game.
No, you want to throw an asterisk on this? Because I'll give you a good way to throw an asterisk on this.
All right, let's throw an asterisk on there. Then how are we
An
asterisking
astro
this?
or
An asteroid.
an asteroid, possibly.
Astrid. Yeah.
Put it on my A device. I would absolutely play
Yes.
this on my tablet.
Yes, definitely.
I would if they could get like the digital gamepad or the virtual gamepad working fairly well.
Precisely,
Even
just
basic
make like
touch
a Game
mechanism.
Boy type.
This would be a
Yeah.
fantastic. I mean, you ride the bus
Yeah,
because you live in the city. It'd be
yeah.
stupid to own a car. We're saying that for our North American listeners is like, why don't you own a car? And well, it would be a bit retarded. Like living in New York City, you don't want to own a car.
Actually, driving in my area isn't too bad. I just don't want to pay for a
Shut
car.
up.
It's expensive.
You're
I could
ruining
spend-
the illusion's
I could
gone.
spend all this money on Linux games instead of paying for car insurance.
Like
Yes.
we pay for games.
Shut up, Ben. Stop ruining the illusion.
But no, if this was available, now granted, you might have to shift it outside of. Well, I guess Air was available
Was.
on
Yes.
Android. So
Was.
yeah,
Was
that would definitely give it, an asteroid right there, and it would definitely change it from a nope to a
maybe.
yeah. Not sure if want because I would love to play the piss out of something.
Yeah, if it was on Android, I don't know, RPG Maker has some Android support. It's not ideal, but, make the game in something other than Air.
So where
Really?
can they find this game, P-Man?
No.
They can find the game on Steam, on the Sura, or if you're like the Penny Arcade Report and want to give them money directly, you can find it on AnodyneGame.com.
Just got all the fun links and all
In the
that
show
fun
notes.
It'll be
business.
all there.
Yeah, show notes are kind
your
of fun
perusal.
with that. So, not to rip on it, but we did give out 2 copies in Chat Realm. These guys right here. They're not fine, they're not young, and they're most certainly not gentlemen or ladies.
They are cannibals. I would venture to call them fine young cannibals.
They are the worst of the worst, the most trolliest of trolliest Linux users in existence, and we are proud
Yes.
to call them our
Call them
own.
aunts.
We are very
Our
grateful
chat realm.
to them. But we've sent that out. They already answered our questions to see whether or not they could get it running, and we look forward, nay, demand their feedback for next week, both of you, because
Indeed,
the developer
yep.
gave us keys and prove us wrong.
Prove us wrong. And
us
remember,
wrong.
be sure to watch us live because we always give away crazy crap like this.
Yeah,
Consistently.
and most of the time, unlike tonight, we have to kind of explain it to police. But that's going to do it for the review of, say it again,
Anodyne.
P-Man, Anodyne.
Anodyne gives me an aneurysm.
Glowing review yet again. Coming up next, guys, the feedback. So, Master Sving, I hear that people like to scream in our direction. Is that correct?
Yeah, somehow they get a hold of us. I have no idea how they would do that.
How would they do that? Well, maybe
No idea?
I don't know. Maybe there's like some kind of website with some sort of web page that has some sort of
I thought we had a web zone with it.
do
No.
we? I have no idea.
Pedro, lay down the vengeance.
It's magic. Magic, I tell you. Nah, it's LinuxGameCast.com. You just push that contact button on the navigation bar up there, and you fill out your name, your email, drop us a subject, drop us a message, and prove you're smarter than a bot. And we got your stinky.
You actually don't even need to be smarter than a bot. So
You
there's
don't?
that.
Damn.
Nope, there
Well,
was a time that
damn.
Jordan sent me a contact message through that, proving it is completely useless. But coming
Go
up
CAPTCHA.
first, David Johnson, not Long Johnson, just David Johnson. What's he's got to say, Master Mateus?
Ooh, he apparently has a lot to say.
Yeah, summarize it.
Gateways.
Yeah. That's an essay.
Gateways is coming to Linux on July 16th. Oh, hey, July 16th. That's my birthday.
What is Gateways? And for one time I'm being genuine about this. Never heard of it.
Well, Gateways, you can find it at smudgecast.com/gateways.html. And, to be honest, I don't know exactly what it is.
It appears to be a game of some sort, as we're looking at the video.
They describe it as a 2D platform game set in the lab of an inventor called Ed,
Mhm.
following an outbreak of a number of his more creative experiments. Can you help him escape the lab? So it's 2D Portal.
Hmm.
This reminds me a lot.
Didn't they have that? It was called Portal 2D.
Well,
It was a
Pedro,
Flash
you might
game.
remember that indie game, like the nothingness game that was the Artori graphics that kind of had the same premise way back when?
Oh, yeah. I can't remember the name, though.
Yeah. Kind of along the
I
same
know exactly
principle.
which game you're talking about, but I can't remember the name.
But he writes in, just to scream about it, it is going to be available. When was that date, sir?
It was July 16th. My birthday, you know?
July 6th.
on Linux for $5.
£5. So check that out at Smudgecast. Second bit here is something that tells me that they do not listen to Linux Gamecast Weekly, and this is about a World War I FPS in beta and on Greenlight. Verdun, you know about the war, though, don't you, sir?
Yes, World War I. A lot of stuff happened in there. This is a very interesting war in terms of history of war.
Yeah, heard about it.
The one world war that Canadians actually did anything?
No, they did. Canadians did stuff in World War II. You remember something called Juno Beach?
Oh, yeah.
Low-hanging fruit. Juno's too easy.
Anyways.
No. Matt, the Velvet,
Matt.
he writes in, he's been on a campaign to tell everyone in the world about this. Been busy with it. Wiki. World War I FPS game. We played it. We showed it off. It is what it is. But the reason I'm giving this a second mention, because they are looking for some wet, stinky green light boobs. Popularity
Green
295 out of 9.6 thousand. Ooh, that's going to be a tough sell. And the fact that you have hidden the controls on your YouTube video, that's going to make it a tougher sale because I can't mute it and I don't feel like readjusting the volume, man. So, best regards to you too, sir. Definitely.
Matt's all, folks.
Check it
That's all.
out. But should we do that?
I don't know.
Yeah,
Seems-
maybe
it seems
maybe
a
we
bit
should
quiet.
cue the music.
Yeah.
Cue it.
All right, so you can check us out at linuxgamecast.com, linuxgamecast.com.
Speaking to the mic a bit louder.
Right, okay, linuxgamecast.com, linuxgamecast.com/podcast. We have
Woohoo.
Amazon affiliate links, RSS feeds, donation buttons.
We really need those
Ooh.
donations right now because we don't make any money from this. This is costing us money, but we would like a few extra quid to send this Portuguese man, which we get
Something
raped
to
in
replace
that.
this.
Yeah, that would be fantastic. It would get our show
Preferably in
started.
AT 2020, but yes.
Might be a
Yes.
bit much to ask, but anything you can spare. If you can't spare anything, then
Took
just
the affiliate links at least.
Yeah, Amazon.
And then you can-
Yeah.
you're going to
Yeah.
spend the money anyway.
It doesn't cost you anything.
Gives us a little bit of the taste. If you do
Just a
contribute one time, we always appreciate that. We got a leaderboard, $3.50 a month, even on a one-time vote. Give us 10 quid, we'll give you a month's access to our show notes, and trust me, that's a lot funner than it sounds. You got to try
Yep.
before you buy, but if you do the 10 quid a month, we'll give you that access recurringly, and you will also be on our leaderboard donations. Is there anything else, Master Spang, we need to cover?
Yeah, we got a YouTube page, youtube.com/LinuxGameCast. We got lots of videos there. You should watch them all.
Ooh, terrifying, petrifying, and stupefying.
And yes, coming up this week is a very special episode of Game of Who.
Ooh.
Well, game of.
Game of?
Well, you know, we got a bit of Who.
A little bit of Who.
Just a taste of Who.
There's some Who news. Some
It might
Who's.
actually help you knock the taste of Matt Smith out of your mouth, you might say.
Giggity.
Okay.
Well, I guess you can find us on Twitter and Google+.
Well, hang on. There's that
No?
one. We have the domain of Pedro.
Pedro?
The
Huh?
magic. That magic.
Oh, yes.
Hateful
The
land
Facebook
of
page.
Facebook. Yes,
That
we do
thing
have a
with the
Facebook
face
page
in
now.
the books. Pedro, tell
Yep.
them about it.
Yeah, it's our Facebook page. You can drop us a line there. Ven made the silly decision of putting me in charge of that page, so if you drop us a line there, I'll probably get back to you as fast as I can. And if you have something to share it there. Give us a note. We appreciate it.
All right.
At
so
the end of
yeah.
the day, here we are. I'm always Vin Stone. Find me on the Twitter nets at VinStone plus VinStone on the G pluses and Masses Fang.
I am usually Jordan Spung, and I am occasionally at the Burning Pool on Twitter, and sometimes at plus Jordan Spung on Google+.
I've been known to roam the Twitters, and you can find me there at unaccounted4, or if you're on Google+, which is actually where I'm the most active, plus Pedro Mateos.
Sounds like a fantastic plan if we could only think of an eye. Screw it. Wave to the lovely people!